When it comes to your finances, everything is relative. Many people need a specific savings method to grow their savings, while others are more liberal and spontaneous with their income. The problem with most financial advice is that it assumes everyone has the same starting point, income trajectory, and life circumstances. It doesn't account for people who need to pay for college, help family members, or simply figure out what they want to do with their lives before they can focus seriously on saving. But having some kind of roadmap is still valuable, even if it's just a reference point rather than a strict rule. It helps you understand whether you're generally on track or if you need to make some adjustments to reach your long-term financial goals. So I decided to calculate realistic savings benchmarks based on a specific retirement target, reaching $1 million by age 60. This isn't necessarily the right number for everyone, but it provides a concrete framework for understanding how much you should ideally have saved at different stages of your life. And here, I will show you how much you should have saved based on your current age if you want to retire as a millionaire. So let's walk through the numbers step by step. First, if you are in your 20s, say between ages 20 and 29, your target range for savings should be relatively modest compared to later life, because you have more time. By age 30, you might aim to have roughly 10% to 15% of your ultimate goal saved. If your target is $1 million by age 60, then by age 30 you might have around $100,000 to $150,000. This gives you a foundation. At that stage, the most important thing is to be saving consistently, investing intelligently, and establishing good habits. According to guidelines from T. Rowe Price, by age 35, one should aim to have about 1 to 1.5 times their current annual salary saved. At those early ages, the goal is less about hitting a perfect number and more about building momentum. Moving into your 30s and early 40s, ages 30-44, your savings should begin to accelerate. If you're 40 and want to hit $1 million by 60, a realistic benchmark might be $300,000 to $500,000 saved by then. At this stage, you are earning more, likely have fewer of the early life financial constraints you did in your 20s, and the time you have left makes compounding work in your favor. You'll need to shift from simply saving to investing, ensuring that part of your savings is working for you rather than just sitting idle. Expense control, debt reduction, and consistent contributions become more important. If you fall behind early, this is the stage where you can still catch up, but the margin for error narrows. By your mid-40s and into your 50s, ages 45-54, normal life decisions start making a bigger impact. Your income may be near its peak, but responsibilities such as children, mortgages, and other commitments can reduce your ability to save aggressively. If you're targeting $1 million by age 60, you should aim to have $500,000 to $800,000 saved by age 50. At this point, you have roughly a decade left before your target retirement age. Achieving this benchmark means you've done the heavy lifting of saving and investing. And now the goal is to protect and grow what you have. Sometimes the key isn't to save more, but to save smarter. Keep fees low. Ensure your investment mix is appropriate. Avoid big financial missteps. Then comes your late 50s and approaching 60. Ages 55-59. This is the final stretch. If you still want to retire at 60 with $1 million, you should be looking at a savings level around $800,000 to $1 million or more by age 59. At this point, the major risk isn't lack of time. It's market downturns, health issues, or unexpected costs. The closer you get to retirement, the more conservative you should become in protecting your portfolio, locking in gains, and ensuring that your savings are structured to deliver income rather than just growth. What happens if you're older or younger? If you are younger than 30 and only have, say, $50,000 saved, that doesn't mean failure. It means opportunity. The years ahead are still on your side. Increase your savings rate, make smart investments, and treat the target as a guide, not a guarantee. If you are older than 60 and you haven't hit $1 million, that also doesn't mean you're out of options. It means you might adjust your target, delay retirement, or alter the lifestyle you expect. The purpose of this framework is not to make you feel behind. It's to give you a clear picture of where you stand and what you can reasonably aim for. Keep in mind the target, $1 million, is adjusted based on assumption of moderate investment growth and a retirement age of 60. Your own goals, risk tolerance, spending habits, and alternative income sources may shift these numbers. For example, if you plan to retire earlier or expect higher expenses, you'll need to save more. If you plan to continue working part-time in retirement, you might get by with less. Another way to apply this is to think about your current age, your savings so far, and ask, am I ahead or behind the benchmark for my age? If you are ahead, that's great. You have options and flexibility. If you are behind, you still have time, but you might need to increase your savings rate, reduce expenses, or invest more aggressively. The earlier you recognize that, the easier it is to adjust. Many people fall into the trap of using average savings as a benchmark. It's useful to know what most people have saved. For instance, according to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the median retirement savings for people ages 35 to 44 was about $45,000, and for ages 55 to 64 was about $185,000. Notice how far these numbers are from what you need to aim for if your goal is $1 million by age 60. The point isn't to shame anyone. It's to highlight just how much leverage time and compounding provide when you apply discipline. So what do you do with this framework? First, measure where you are now. Add up your savings, investments, and other assets you're comfortable including in your retirement picture. Compare that number to the benchmark appropriate for your age. If you're below the target range, don't panic. Use the gap as a motivator. Increase your savings rate, cut unnecessary expenses, and improve how your money is invested. If you're ahead, you can lean into your lead. Maybe invest more, reduce risk, or consider alternative milestones like earlier retirement or greater flexibility. Second, set incremental goals. Rather than fixating solely on $1 million, break the journey into smaller milestones, what you'll aim to have saved by age 30, 40, 50. Use the benchmarks above. Celebrate when you hit each one. Adjust if your life changes. Family, job, health, or location shifts all matter. The roadmap is flexible. Third, use growth wisely. Having $1 million doesn't guarantee financial freedom if you haven't thought about how to use it, how you invest, how much you spend, and how you manage tax, inflation, and longevity will determine whether your savings last. A simple rule: work to save, invest, protect. Let compounding and time work for you rather than constantly reacting. Finally, remember that a benchmark is just that, a reference point, not a rule written in stone. Your unique path will involve detours, delays, and different priorities. But having a target gives you direction. It helps you ask better questions. What savings do I need? What changes would get me on track? What trade-offs am I willing to make? When you use the benchmark as a tool instead of a limitation, you gain control over your financial narrative. Saving toward $1 million by age 60 is a clear, manageable goal if you treat the numbers honestly and work consistently. By matching your savings to your age-based benchmark, you give yourself a realistic gauge of progress. And even if you fall behind, the roadmap still works. It shows you how to catch up or adjust. Ultimately, your savings goal isn't about the number you hit, but about the habits you build and the options you create. With the right mindset and consistency, being on track for retirement is less about blind luck and more about the decisions you make today. One thing to remember is that these numbers are not meant to create pressure. They're meant to create perspective. Life doesn't always move in straight lines, and your savings journey won't either. You might have years when your income grows fast, and others when you need to pause, regroup, or focus on other priorities. What matters most is direction, not perfection. As long as your savings trend is upward over time, you're doing far better than most people who never start or give up halfway. Consistency is more important than catching up all at once.